Hey guys, it's Brindley. Not sure how long we've been live, but we're here and I'm really excited. I'm always excited to talk to you guys, but tonight's topic is I think it's a really good one. And here's why. We talked about this on I'm on a call at 4:30 every morning. You want to talk about getting comfortable being uncomfortable. I remember, and that's our topic tonight. Our topic tonight is getting comfortable being uncomfortable. And I remember back in my previous days of living, in the previous life that I lived, I would never take a job that required me to get out of bed before 8 o'clock in the morning. And so if you told me that I'd be up at 4:30 in the morning with a cup of coffee, which I didn't drink coffee, and I would be on a call with 350 of my closest friends every morning, I would have told you that you were crazy. And that's what I did this morning. And I have managed to do that every morning since I got to Washington because it's a call that I love being on, and it's at 8 o'clock Eastern or 8:30 or no 7:30 Eastern. And so in order for me to be on it here on the West Coast, I have to be on at 4:30 in the morning. And I didn't get to no job before 8 to waking up at 4:30 in the morning overnight. It definitely took a process of being able to start to be comfortable being uncomfortable so that what was uncomfortable at the time eventually became comfortable. So now my body instantly wakes up at 4:30 every morning. It's now become comfortable. I miss those calls when I'm not on them. I miss the community. I miss the people. And now what used to be uncomfortable getting up before 8 o'clock in the morning is now comfortable. And so a lot of you know my journey, and you know that in the last 8 years, I've done a lot of work on me, a lot of work on behavior, mindset, from where I was 8 years ago to where I am now. And I've talked about a lot of things that have been a part of that journey and a part of that growth. And I think this might be one of the biggest. It was one of the hardest because it's uncomfortable, but it was one of the biggest. When I was able to start learning what true uncomfortability felt like, and I was able to lean into it long enough to figure out what the source and the trigger of it was, to then step back and determine what my new comfortable would look like, and then being able to remain and lean into that uncomfortability long enough until the comfortable began, until I started feeling comfortable with the new behavior, with the new way of thinking, with the new thing. And that's a lot of things, right? It is still a bit uncomfortable for me to pause, respond, not react. It is still in my comfort zone, as crazy as it sounds. And I use this as an example because sometimes we're uncomfortable in things that very much are negatively impacting the world around us. They're negatively impacting our businesses, the people that are around us, our families, right? Because that feeling, that behavior is comfortable. I can put up my guard, and when I'm strong and I react and I can do it, right? That's where I feel power and I feel comfortable. But what it's doing is that it's at the expense of others. It's at the expense of the business, where I need to learn to pause, which is not comfortable, right? Assess the situation and then respond. One of my dear mentors and friends, Nikki Ubaldini, said once, don't be afraid that when someone comes to you with something, say to them, do you want my reaction or do you want my response? Because if I answer you right now, you're probably going to get my reaction. If I wait and we wait, you'll get my response. That was her way of setting herself up for success until it became comfortable to just respond, not react. So how do we get comfortable being uncomfortable? Well, first, we have to identify what's uncomfortable and what we want our new comfortable to be. So in our lives, we have to identify where are the areas that we want to grow. So sitting back and taking time and journaling and planning for the future, and where do you want to be? What type of life do you want to have? And what person do you need to become to have that life? So start there. What's the life that you want, and someone's texting me. I think I might have said something wrong. Let me see. Let me see what this person is saying. Do you want my reaction or my response? A better way of saying we're done here. Yes. Somebody just texted me and said that they actually, that was really fun. See, people watch these and it helps them. So that's a great tip. And someone just texted me. I should say, do you want my reaction or my response, rather than just ending a conversation or being passive aggressive or getting upset. So thank you to that person. That was super helpful. So first we have to identify, what is the life you want? Who do you want to be? Like, what life do you want? What do you want your life by design to be? What are you here for? Right? I also use this a lot. People ask me all the time, why are you single? And the reason I'm single is because I have not been, until probably about now, where I'm really starting to feel like I am the person that I wanted to attract. We have to be what we want to attract. And that's not just in our personal lives, that's in our business, that's in our leadership. So what is it that you want? Figure that out first. And then ask yourself, what type of person do I have to be to attract that into my world? Right? And once you've identified that, then you can say, okay, where does the change need to happen? So I'll use this as an example. Is I knew that I wanted someone that cared about health. And yet I was sitting here, 20 pounds overweight, not putting good things in my body, not having a healthy mentality, not exercising. And I had to say to myself, how can I want that in a partner if I'm not being that myself? And so I had to realize that one of the most uncomfortable things for me was exercise. Like, hated it more than probably anything I've ever done. Like, I've never been an athlete. I've never enjoyed running. I've never enjoyed sweating. I've never enjoyed panting. It just is not my thing. And I had to make a big decision that I was going to lead into the uncomfortable and get real uncomfortable exercising if I truly wanted to become the person that I expected others to be when it came to health and fitness. And so once I was able to get uncomfortable, I had to lean into it. I had to really lean into it and say, okay, like, I have to be committed to this. And then the next step is, so first it's identify what you want. Second, identify the human that you need to become so that you can identify where you need to get uncomfortable, because that's where the biggest change is going to happen. Change happens when we're uncomfortable. Nothing grows in our comfort zone. Nothing grows. And so then what we have to do is we have to lean into it. We have to lean in and put ourselves in new situations that are super uncomfortable, that are going to be the practice that we need, because it doesn't get comfortable until we lean into the uncomfortable enough. So this is interesting. Putting yourself in new and unfamiliar situations actually triggers a unique part of the brain. And that part of the brain releases dopamine, which, if you know what dopamine is, it's nature's and our bodies, make you happy chemical. So the mind blower here is that the unique region of the brain is only activated when you see or experience completely new things. So actually what we think is going to be uncomfortable, by doing something new, our bodies are going to work with us and release dopamine to help offset the uncomfortability. So this is why I get a runner's high. This is why I now enjoy exercise. My body works with me and releases the endorphins and releases the dopamine. So the exercise does not seem as uncomfortable as it did before. And so identifying what is it and leaning into it. Once we've leaned into it, then we have to change the narrative around it. We have to change the way that we speak about it. We have to change the way we look at it, because we have to change the way we look at things, and the things you look at will change, right? And what we focus on expands. So if I wake up every morning and I say to myself, exercise sucks, it's the worst thing ever, I don't ever want to do it, my body hurts, I don't want to get out of bed, I just want to lay here in this warm burrito of a bed, then guess what? Like, I'm making the uncomfortable even more uncomfortable. But if I change the narrative to a picture in my mind of what my body's going to look like in a swimsuit in August, and I look at how I'm going to feel when I'm 60, right? And I start looking at the good that's going to come from the uncomfortable, all of a sudden I trigger a different part of my brain that makes me want to get up, and now I'm motivated. So what's the narrative that you're telling yourself about the areas that you're uncomfortable? And guys, I swear to you, what will happen over time is that if you do enough things that are uncomfortable, that then become comfortable, meaning that you start to grow through them, your tolerance for uncomfortability will become higher and higher and higher, which you'll then get to a point where I am now, that if I'm comfortable, I'm uncomfortable. If something's not growing, if I'm not being challenged, if I'm not out there doing something new, if I'm not putting myself out for higher accountability, then I'm uncomfortable. That's uncomfortable for me. I've now had to get comfortable just being. I've now had to get comfortable slowing down. In his book, Are You Indispensable by Seth Godin, if you've never read anything by Seth, he's freaking amazing. Discomfort brings engagement and change. Discomfort means you're doing something that others were unlikely to do because they're hiding out in their comfort zone. When your uncomfortable actions lead to success, the organization rewards you and brings you back for more. So a few more things I want to leave you with. Once you lean into the uncomfortability, once you change the narrative, once you understand that being uncomfortable, not a lot of people do it because it's uncomfortable, yet that's where the success exists. That's where the biggest rewards are. Then you can identify the source and the triggers of what's preventing you. What is it that's causing you to be uncomfortable? What's in it that causes me to be uncomfortable with exercising? Well, I have a broken ankle. I'm fat. I think I look funny when I run. Like, there's all these triggers because someone told me I look funny when I was like 6 running. And so ever since then, I never wanted to run, right? So what is the trigger? What is the source? So that you can dig in and find the root of what's holding you back, and you can pull it out. And then ask yourself, how do I let perfection go? Because here's the thing, a lot of us are getting ready because we want it to be perfect. We have these unrealistic expectations of ourselves that we're perfect. And no one is perfect. No one is perfect. I've been saying this a lot lately. Even God rested on the 7th day. Everyone needs rest. Everyone has to take a chance to step back, reflect, and then let the perfection go, because done is better than perfect. And as you do more and as you lean in more, perfection will come with practice. Practice makes perfect. And that's with everything, including uncomfortability. And ask yourself, how do you eat an elephant? How do you eat an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time. I wasn't going to go from a 10-minute walk every day to a 2-mile run overnight. I wasn't going to lose 40 pounds this year overnight. It's a massive elephant that I had to lean in to the uncomfortability, change the narrative, identify the trigger, let the perfection go, and then become aware and accept the fact that it was going to take time, and that the way you eat an elephant is one bite at a time. So guys, I really encourage you today, get uncomfortable. If you want to talk about this more, you can private message me, Brindley Tucker. You can also reach out to me, Brindley at yrltalent.com or Brindley at brindleytucker.com. I love you guys. You're awesome, and have a great 4th of July. We'll see you next week. Bye.